The old oaken bucket. It's literally just a wooden bucket from an Indiana farm well. But when Purdue and Indiana face off each November, players would tackle their own grandmothers to get their hands on it. The bucket dates back to 1925 when alumni from both schools were looking for something to symbolize their rivalry. They found this ancient water pail on a farm in southern Indiana, slapped some chains on it with bronze P and I links to mark each victory, and boom, instant tradition. What makes it bizarre isn't just that it's a used bucket, it's that both schools treat this weathered piece of wood like it's the holy grail. Players sprint across the field to claim it. Fans lose their minds when it changes hands, and the winning team parades it around like they've discovered buried treasure. The bucket has survived nearly a century of college football chaos, outlasting coaches, players, and even a few stadium renovations. When Purdue won it in 2022 after a miserable 2-10 season, their players celebrated like they'd won a national championship. That's the power of a rusty old farm bucket in college football. The Paul Bunyan Trophy. Michigan and Michigan State have been battling over this 4-foot wooden lumberjack since 1953. The story behind it is peak college football absurdity. Michigan never even wanted the trophy. When Governor G. Mennen Williams introduced it, Michigan's coach Benny Osterbahn and the Wolverines basically said, "Thanks, but no thanks," and left it sitting in an Ann Arbor closet for years. Michigan State, meanwhile, embraced Paul like a long-lost relative. The trophy itself is ridiculous. A hulking 4-foot-tall wooden statue of a man who never existed standing on a 5-foot base. The whole thing weighs about 200 pounds and looks like something your weird uncle would carve in his garage. When Michigan finally started acknowledging the trophy in the 1990s, they discovered their players had no idea how to properly carry the massive wooden lumberjack. In 2013, Michigan players accidentally broke the trophy during their celebration, snapping off Paul's axe. The next year, Michigan State's players were so eager to reclaim Paul that they sprinted across the field before the game even ended, creating one of college football's most awkward trophy ceremonies. The $5 Bits of Broken Chair Trophy. This might be the only major college football trophy that started as a Twitter joke. In 2014, Minnesota's mascot Goldie Gopher tweeted at Fake Bo Pelini, a parody account of Nebraska's then coach, betting him a broken chair that Minnesota would win. When the Gophers did win, a fan actually made a trophy, a wooden chair with one broken leg and a $5 bill attached to it. What's bizarre isn't just its social media origins, but how both universities initially tried to kill it. Neither school officially recognized the trophy, with administrators attempting to replace it with corporate-sponsored alternatives. But fans and players loved the chair so much they kept it alive, literally smuggling it to games. By 2017, students turned the trophy into a charity fundraiser, and the broken chair became bigger than ever. Nebraska and Minnesota players now sprint to claim it after games, and the trophy has raised over $30,000 for children's hospitals. It's the only trophy in college football that exists because fans essentially staged a rebellion against their own school's marketing departments. The Platypus Trophy. Oregon and Oregon State's rivalry trophy is so weird it disappeared for 40 years, and nobody noticed. Created in 1959, the bronze platypus, a mix of duck and beaver, representing both schools' mascots, was awarded for exactly 2 years before vanishing. The trophy was stolen, then forgotten, then discovered in a closet in the 2000s. When it resurfaced, both schools basically said, "Oh yeah, that thing," and half-heartedly brought it back. What makes this bizarre is that the trophy was literally missing for 4 decades, and neither school seemed to care enough to look for it. Even now, the platypus isn't presented on the field, it's quietly handed off in a private ceremony that most fans don't even know happens. The original trophy was also anatomically incorrect, with the sculptor admitting he'd never actually seen a platypus before making it. In 2014, the trophy disappeared again for several years, proving that perhaps the most bizarre thing about this trophy is that it spends more time lost than it does being displayed. The Telephone Trophy. This might be the only rivalry trophy that commemorates a broken communication system. In 1959, Missouri and Iowa State were playing when the press box phone line between coaches got crossed, allowing both teams to hear each other's private conversations. Rather than fix the technical problem, someone decided to immortalize it by mounting an actual telephone on a plaque. The trophy is literally a black rotary phone, technology that most current players have never used, bolted to a piece of wood. What makes it truly strange is that the rivalry ended in 2011 when Missouri left for the SEC, leaving the phone permanently off the hook. The trophy now sits in Missouri's athletic complex, gathering dust like an abandoned landline. It's college football's equivalent of keeping your ex's photo on your nightstand, a a reminder of a connection that no longer exists. The SIHawk Trophy. Ohio State and Illinois have been passing a wooden turtle back and forth since 1925, and everything about it is wonderfully weird. First, it's not even the original turtle. That was a live turtle named SIHawk, who died 2 years into the tradition. Rather than find another living reptile, they switched to a wooden turtle that has now been replaced 10 times, as each one deteriorates. Second, the exchange ceremony is conducted by two secret societies, Bucket and Dipper from Ohio State and Sachem from Illinois, who perform a bizarre peace pipe smoking ritual at midfield. The turtle's back contains the score of every game in the series, with over 90 scores now crammed onto its wooden shell. What makes this truly strange is that despite being one of college football's oldest trophies, the rivalry has become completely one-sided, with Ohio State winning 17 of the last 20 meetings. The turtle now spends so much time in Columbus that Illinois students barely recognize it when it briefly visits Champaign. The milk can. Boise State and Fresno State battle for a 50-pound steel milk can that looks like it was stolen from a Giants dairy farm. Created in 2005, the trophy was sponsored by the dairy industries in both Idaho and California, making it perhaps the only rivalry trophy with corporate dairy backing. The can itself is massive, standing nearly 3 feet tall and weighing enough that small players struggle to lift it. What makes this trophy bizarre is that it's gone missing multiple times. After Boise State won it in 2007, the trophy completely disappeared for several years. When asked about its whereabouts, both schools basically shrugged. It eventually reappeared in 2013, though nobody has ever explained where it was or why it vanished. Even stranger, the trophy has a habit of not showing up for games. In 2018, Fresno State won the game but couldn't claim the physical trophy because nobody brought it to the stadium. The milk can has spent almost as much time missing as it has being displayed, making it college football's most elusive dairy container. If you're enjoying this breakdown of college football's strangest trophies, hit that subscribe button right now. The Golden Boot. When Arkansas and LSU created their trophy in 1996, they took the bigger is better approach to an absurd extreme. The trophy is a 24-karat gold-plated, 200-pound monstrosity shaped like the states of Arkansas and Louisiana. It's so massive that it requires multiple people to move it and costs about 10 grand to make. The trophy is so heavy that players have been injured trying to lift it. In 2011, LSU defensive end Sam Montgomery sprained his wrist attempting to hoist the massive boot during the post-game celebration. What makes this trophy particularly bizarre is that it comes with its own custom-built traveling case with wheels, essentially making it the only rivalry trophy that needs its own luggage. The boot is also worth so much in actual gold that it travels with a security detail between campuses. When Arkansas won it in 2022, they needed a police escort to transport the golden monstrosity back to Fayetteville. It's less a trophy and more a gold-plated liability that happens to commemorate a football game. The Oki Finoi Ore. Georgia and Florida have been playing since 1915, but their trophy only dates back to 2009, making it one of the youngest rivalry prizes in college football. The 6-foot wooden ore commemorates the Oki Finoi swamp that straddles the state's border. What makes this trophy bizarre isn't just that it took nearly a century for someone to create it. It's that neither school officially recognizes it. The ore was created by the Oki Finoi Area Council of the Boy Scouts, who present it to the winning team each year. But you'll never see players hoisting it on the field or displayed in either team's trophy case. It's essentially college football's unwanted stepchild. A trophy that exists but is ignored by the very schools it's meant to celebrate. After games, a small ceremony happens far from the field where a representative quietly accepts the ore before it disappears for another year. It's perhaps the only major rivalry trophy that fans of both teams couldn't identify if shown a picture. The Jewel Chile. Notre Dame and USC play for what looks like a glorified bedazzled walking stick. The foot-long club is an Irish war club decorated with emerald shamrocks and ruby Trojan heads to mark each victory. What makes this trophy bizarre is its size. It's tiny compared to most rivalry trophies, looking more like a souvenir you'd buy at an Irish gift shop than a coveted college football prize. The original shillelagh ran out of space for game markers in 1989, so they retired it and created a new one. There are now two jeweled shillelaghs, the original sitting in Notre Dame's trophy case and the replacement that travels between schools. Even stranger, for a trophy representing one of college football's most storied rivalries, players often seem confused about what exactly they're holding. In 2017, USC quarterback Sam Darnold admitted in a post-game interview he had no idea what this thing is, while awkwardly waving the shillelagh. It's college football's equivalent of receiving an heirloom from your grandparents that you pretend to treasure, but secretly don't understand. The Victory Cannon. Central Michigan and Western Michigan have been firing a miniature cannon at each other since 2008. Well, not literally at each other. The trophy is a half-size replica of a Civil War cannon mounted on a wooden base. What makes this trophy bizarre is that it's not just decorative, it's partially functional. The cannon can actually fire blank shells, and the winning team traditionally fires it after taking possession. This has led to some truly strange moments, including a 2011 incident where Central Michigan players accidentally fired the cannon indoors, setting off fire alarms in their own athletic facility. The trophy has also been modified several times because players keep breaking off pieces during celebrations. After Western Michigan's victory in 2017, players were so enthusiastic about firing the cannon that they broke the firing mechanism, leading to an awkward ceremony where they pretended to shoot a cannon that couldn't actually fire. It's the only college football trophy that requires safety training and has its own liability waiver. The Heartland Trophy. Wisconsin and Iowa battle for a bronze bull that looks suspiciously like it was designed by someone who had only heard descriptions of bulls but never actually seen one. Created in 2004, the trophy features a bull with anatomical proportions that no living bovine has ever possessed. A tiny body with an enormous head. Players often look confused when posing with it, unsure of how to hold the awkwardly balanced trophy. What makes this particularly bizarre is that the trophy replaced a more traditional rivalry prize, a simple wooden bull, with something that looks like it escaped from a modern art museum. The bronze bull is also surprisingly heavy, weighing over 30 pounds, with most of that weight in the oversized head, making it top-heavy and prone to tipping over. During Iowa's celebration in 2018, players nearly dropped the bull when its weight shifted unexpectedly, almost crushing a student manager's foot. It's college football's most physically awkward trophy, requiring a specific carrying technique that coaches actually have to demonstrate to players before they attempt to lift it. The SIHawk Trophy. Iowa and Iowa State's rivalry trophy has undergone more identity crises than any prize in college football. The original trophy was a simple football player on a wooden base, but in 2011, sponsors replaced it with what can only be described as a marketing disaster, a sculpture of a farm family gathered around a basket of corn. The new trophy was universally mocked, with Iowa coach Kirk Ferentz saying it looked like something you'd see at the state fair. After just 3 days of public ridicule, the Corn family trophy was scrapped. A temporary trophy was used for a year while fans voted on a permanent replacement, making it the only rivalry trophy decided by public election. The current trophy, featuring a football and the school's mascots, is actually the fourth design in the rivalry's history. What makes this situation truly bizarre is that somewhere in a storage closet in Iowa, there exists a $25,000 bronze sculpture of a family admiring corn that was so ugly, it lasted less than a week as a football trophy. The Land of Lincoln Trophy. Illinois and Northwestern created this trophy in 2009 after their previous prize, the Sweet Sioux Tomahawk, was retired due to NCAA restrictions on Native American imagery. The replacement is a hat. Not just any hat, but a bronze stovepipe hat resembling the one worn by Abraham Lincoln. What makes this trophy bizarre isn't just that it's headwear. It's that neither school has any particular connection to Lincoln beyond being in Illinois. The trophy looks less like a coveted prize and more like a prop for a community theater production of Our American Cousin. Even stranger, the hat sits on a wood base that's actually larger than the hat itself, making the whole thing look disproportionate and awkward. When Northwestern won it in 2020, their players celebrated by taking turns wearing their own stovepipe hats they'd brought to the game, essentially upstaging the actual trophy with better-looking replicas. It's perhaps the only rivalry trophy that players have actually tried to improve upon with their own props. The Keg of Nails. Louisville and Cincinnati's trophy is exactly what it sounds like, a wooden keg filled with actual nails. Created in the 1920s, the trophy was meant to signify that the players were tough as nails. What makes this bizarre isn't just the concept of celebrating with a container of sharp metal objects. It's that the keg has been lost, found, stolen, and neglected more times than any trophy should endure. The original keg disappeared in the 1960s, was replaced, then the replacement was stolen from a Cincinnati bar in the 1980s, After being recovered, it spent years forgotten in a storage room before being rediscovered. When the rivalry was interrupted in 2013 by conference realignment, Cincinnati simply kept the keg, refusing to display it or return it until the series resumed years later. The keg is also unusually dangerous for a trophy. In 2007, a Louisville player needed tetanus shots after cutting himself on exposed nails during the celebration. It's literally the only college football trophy that requires a first aid kit nearby when presented. If you've enjoyed learning about these bizarre college football trophies, make sure to subscribe for more videos exploring the strangest traditions in sports. Hit that notification bell so you never miss an upload.